Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Muhammad Farooq, Lecturer, Department of English, Aptabad, University of Science and Technology. Dear students, in today's video, I shall be talking about the discipline of linguistics. You know that when we study English, then we have two branches within the discipline of English. One is literature and the other is linguistics. Literature deals with the static study of different literary texts such as novel, drama, poetry, and short stories, while on the other hand side, linguistics is basically the scientific study of language, and particularly in that scientific study, we that study language in a systematic way. That's the reason it is known as scientific study, and we try to know that what is the background of human language, particularly how this human language initially started, how language human language was used in prehistoric days, and what are the cultural implication in language, what are the social implications in language, and further that how this language system is produced, how it is understood, how it works in human brain, and what are different that other links with the construction of language. Linguistics basically is about the knowledge of language. You know that when we talk about language, then there are two things. One is to speak language, and the other is to know about the language. Linguistics is basically much more. It much more deals about the knowledge of the language. There are certain theories, and there are certain hypotheses, and there are certain that other discussions regarding the construction of language, regarding the understanding of language, regarding the use of the language, and so on and so forth. So it is highly scientific study of language, and it has many branches. I mean, linguistics has many branches, such as sociolinguistics, which deals with the study of language in relation to society, and similarly psycholinguistics that deals with the study of language in relation to human psyche, and then neurolinguistic that deals with the study of language in relation to human brain, that where does it reside, how it is operated, and so on and so forth. And similarly applied linguistics that addresses the real issues related to language in society, the real issues which are related to the language in classroom and teaching and learning, and so on and so forth. And similarly we have stylistics that that an independent field that works as a bridge between language and literature. So, in today's particular lecture, we are going to touch upon one of the specific branches of linguistics, that is sociolinguistics. You know that in society we see that there are certain domains and norms. There are certain domains such as religious domain, social domains, similarly the domestic domain, friendly domain, educational domain, and political domain, that official domains, and similarly the domain of law, and so on and so forth. So all these domains, they that demand different use of language, different the styles of language. And in this way language, whenever we are using in society, we do not use language in the same way everywhere. Rather we that use the language according to the context, according to the setting of that particular place where we are talking about, or talking to some people. So for example, we see that when we are sitting, or we are using language in religious domain, so we use highly formal and highly sacred and holy language, like in mosque, like in that places where do we worship. And similarly when we are in friendly domain, so we freely use the language, and we that use most of the time informal language. And similarly when we are in domestic setting, we use that language in a personal context, and we that frankly speak with family members and so on and so forth. And similarly, when we are in offices, we are supposed to highly use official language and formal language and the language of work and profession and so on and so forth. So this is what sociolinguistics studies, and it tells us that how language is used in different contexts of society differently and according to the needs of that particular domain. And further, we also study in sociolinguistics that how different group of people, they that use language differently. For example, men, they use language in their own way, women, they use their own way, youngster people, they use a language differently, and elder people, they use language differently. And similarly, we see that then that in society, culturally, language is highly influenced, and it's that a wide discussion that whether language is the production of culture or the culture is the production of language. And similarly, whether that the language produces thought or thoughts produce language. So this is also the discussion. And beside that, we also see in sociolinguistics that there are a number of dialects of even a single language. So how language varies geographically, that. And further, it is said that after every 10 kilometer, one particular language changes in term of its accent, its in term of its the selection of vocabulary. So this thing is also the subject matter of socio linguistics. So we see that language is that most of the time, almost every time, language, whenever we use, it is used, and it is that first of all, before use, it is the design to use. And this design is that is framed while keeping the social scenario in mind, while keeping the social setting, while keeping different social norms of the society. So this is the way. And the way this is that language is that used according to the demands of society. And this sort of that study about language, in which we see in which we study the relation between language and society, that is known to be sociolinguistics. So in today's lecture, we just shortly and briefly discussed one of the branches of linguistics, that is sociolinguistics. And in coming videos, I shall be touching upon other branches of linguistics as well. Thank you so much for watching, and you may also leave your the desired topic in section of comment. Thank you so much.